You just heard the SBA Administrator, Kelly Loeffler, say Democrats hate the Trump agenda and want to punish the American public with a shutdown as a result. Your reaction?
We want to support the American people, talk to people on the ground in communities across the country. Prices are going up across the country. They're slashing health care for millions of people across the country. People are angry. Trump promised to lower costs on day one in his administration, and yet through tariffs, the big ugly bill, costs have been going up. That's what you hear from people on the ground. We've got to make sure we're addressing the needs of our communities. And unfortunately, we've got a bunch of members of Congress on the Republican side who just are blindly loyal to Donald Trump.
How does shutting down the federal government solve any of the things you just described?
Now, what we need to do is make sure that we are supporting programs that help the American people. We're making sure that people have affordable quality health care across the country, and we're keeping the government open. Something very achievable to do. Turns out the fiscal year always starts on October 1st, and yet Republicans waited forever to try to work on funding bills. We shouldn't be doing continuing resolutions. We should have passed full-year funding bills by now. Republicans are in charge of the House, the Senate, the White House. Didn't come to the table, waited last minute, and now they're not even in town. We have a shutdown. The House Republicans aren't even here. And so we need people who are going to come to the table and work to make sure we're putting the needs of the American people first, not folks who are on vacation and, I guess, are hoping for a shutdown.
In the last hour or so, Senate Majority Leader John Thune has indicated that if there is a shutdown, there'll be no negotiations with Democrats.
Does he want to serve the American people? Turns out that the American people want Congress to work. I think we've had Republicans in Congress.
Doesn't that alarm you and frighten you about the potential duration of a shutdown?
It alarms me that Republicans have abdicated their responsibility in Congress, have just been blindly loyal to Donald Trump. We need folks who are going to stand up, put the voices of their communities first. Healthcare is critical across the country. People want to make sure that there's affordable quality healthcare. Republicans are ignoring that. And, you know, come to the table, sit down, count the votes. That's what it takes to pass legislation. That's always been true. They're uninterested in that. They're just trying to figure out kind of who they're going to blame and who they're going to hurt. In fact, if you listen to Russ Vought or the president,
Director of the Office of Management and Budget,
they've talked about the damage that they want to do, how they want to hurt the American people. They haven't talked about how we help folks. If there's a shutdown, they talk about the pain they want to inflict on the American people. We're fighting to help the American people, help families, and healthcare is obviously critical to that.
So some Democrats have said if there is an assurance from the White House that there will be good faith negotiations about Obamacare subsidies in the next 7 weeks, they might consider voting for a continuing resolution to keep the government open. Are you one of those?
I don't even know what that means. First of all, good faith. Have they been willing to negotiate on anything? They haven't been. They slashed health care for the American people in their big, ugly bill, slashed Medicaid, a $500 billion cut to Medicare as a result. And now we have the premium tax credits for the Affordable Care Act for people who buy their health care on the exchanges across the country. Those expire at the end of the year, but notices are going out in October. Rates are going up right away. I know in my state, open enrollment starts November 1st. We need to deal with this now. In our state, if the tax credits aren't renewed, premiums go up by 65%. The estimate is that 80,000 people will no longer be able to afford health care as a result. That's what we're talking about. And that's not something that's happening tomorrow or 7 weeks from now. That's something that people are grappling with right now. And November 1st, they're going to be choosing insurance.
Congressman, you are convinced that this particular approach that has so far unified House and Senate Democrats will yield political benefits for you come next year?
This is about doing the right thing for the American people. If you go and you talk to people, talk to folks what they want to see. They want to see the tax credits extended. They want to make sure there's affordable quality health care. They want to make sure their rural hospitals are going to stay open. We've already seen jobs cut at hospitals in our region as a result of the Republican policies that have been put in place. They want people who are standing up and fighting for the American people. This isn't just about blue districts. This impacts every district across the country, and Republicans are hearing it too. Republicans are hearing these stories, and yet they won't stand up.
How does this end?
Well, we need folks to come to the table, and
You need Republicans to capitulate.
we need Republicans to even show up. House Republicans aren't even here. We just had a session in the House. They weren't even there. The government will shut down tonight. They should be here fighting for policy to support their communities, and they can't even show up.
Washington Democratic Congresswoman Suzan DelBene, head of the DCCC. Thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it.